Today, we're going to really get into it. We're talking artificial general intelligence, AGI. Now, when we talk about AGI, we're thinking about that kind of AI that's not just good at one thing, but can do it all. Right.
Yeah, it's not just specialized. It's like, can it do everything a human can do?
Right. Like imagine AI composing symphonies 1 minute, designing a rocket engine the next. But here's the thing, and this is what's so fascinating about the expert we're looking at today. They're saying those AGI building blocks, they're already here. We're diving into a piece by some leading AI researchers, and they make a really compelling case that we've crossed a major threshold. And just to be clear, this isn't about, robots taking over the world tomorrow or anything. It is about recognizing a huge shift happening in what AI can do. So get ready, because this might just change how you think about AGI.
I'm ready.
All right, so to kick us off, the authors use this analogy I love. They compare today's AI to, get this, one of the very first computers.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So picture it, 1946, this thing, the ENIAC, is massive, takes up a whole room, right? It's clunky, needs constant attention. But, and this is key, it could be programmed for all sorts of tasks, not just one specific thing.
So it had that general purpose ability even back then.
Exactly. And that's their point. They're saying that's where we are with AI now.
Wow, that's actually a really good analogy.
Right. So are we on the edge of an AI revolution as big as like the whole digital age that ENIAC helped start?
It's a big question.
Huge. And our expert here, they say yes. They even lay out 5 ways current AI models are already showing what they call AGI-like capabilities. 5 signs we got to look at.
All right, lay it on me. What's the first sign?
The first one is just the sheer volume of info these models are trained on. We're not talking about like specialized data sets anymore. It's almost everything online.
The whole internet, basically.
Basically, the amount of data they process, it's mind-blowing.
So instead of a library, they've got, what, the Library of Congress to work with?
More like the Library of Congress times 1,000, probably. And that's just the first sign.
Okay, keep going. I'm hooked. What's number 2?
Number 2 is all about the tasks these models can handle. And we're talking summarizing complex reports, translating languages like it's nothing, even writing computer code.
Wow. It's not just one thing.
It's the adaptability, right? That's what makes it feel different.
It's like, it's not a one-trick pony anymore. This AI is learning to ride every horse in the stable.
Right.
Okay, what else? This is amazing. What's next?
So this next one is changing fast. The ways AI experiences the world. Like right now, it's mostly text and images.
Right.
But researchers are making huge leaps with audio, video, even robotics. The sensory experiences AI can handle, it's expanding constantly.
Hold on. So we're saying this AI can read, see, maybe hear, watch, even potentially touch and interact. That's a lot to take in.
It's a lot. But we're not done. Sign number 4 is a big one, languages.
Okay, languages. Shoot.
These models are crazy multilingual. Dozens of languages, no problem. And get this, they can often translate languages they weren't even specifically trained on.
Wait, really? So that's like me suddenly being fluent in, I don't know, Mandarin, just because I've watched a lot of Kung Fu movies.
It's like that. It's a whole other level of learning. But the 5th sign, that's the most important.
All right. Hit me with number 5. What is it?
Instructability. This is about the AI's ability to learn from instructions on the fly.
So not just pre-programmed, but it can figure things out.
Exactly. You give it a prompt, it gets the task. No more needing to hand-hold it through every little step.
That sounds kind of revolutionary.
It is, but it gets even wilder. There's few-shot learning, where the AI learns after seeing just a few examples, and then there's zero-shot learning.
Zero-shot learning? What in the world is that?
This is where it gets really sci-fi. Zero-shot learning is where AI learns. Get this. With no examples at all, just from a description.
Okay, you're going to have to explain that one. Zero-shot learning. Sounds like something out of a movie. How could it learn with no prior knowledge?
That's the million-dollar question, right? It's mind-bending stuff, and that's exactly what we're going to dive into next. Zero-shot learning. I mean, come on. It sounds too good to be true.
It's definitely pushing the limits of what we thought AI could do. Basically, these models have gotten so good at seeing patterns, understanding language, they could use that knowledge in totally new situations. No hand-holding needed.
So not just memorizing, but actually like problem solving.
Right. Like think about how we figure out a new tool, even if we've never seen it.
Yeah.
We get its purpose, we know how to use it. That's a big deal.
Huge. But okay, if all this is true, if AI is showing these signs of like real intelligence, why are some experts still iffy on calling it AGI? The piece we're looking at even says there's some pushback.
Yeah, you're going to have debate in any field, but especially one as complex as AI. And it changes so fast. It's not like checking boxes on a list and saying, yep, that's AGI. There's more to it.
Right, there's got to be some nuance here. So what's behind this resistance to just admit maybe AGI is closer than we thought?
Oh, well, one big thing is how we even define and measure intelligence,
Yeah.
especially when it's not a human. Like, just because an AI can ace a test, does that mean it really understands this stuff?
So it's like saying, because I can memorize a Shakespeare sonnet, I understand all the nuance, the history, the feeling behind it.
Exactly. We can't just rely on these surface-level tests for true intelligence, whether it's us or machines. Makes you wonder.
What would a good test for AGI even look like? That's a whole other deep dive right there.
Maybe we'll have to tackle that another time.
Definitely. But okay, what LSE is making these researchers hesitate?
Another factor is the history of AI itself. For decades, the main approach was symbolic AI, building systems on very specific rules and logic, like a computer program.
Okay, I'm following.
This new wave with machine learning, it's totally different. It's less about programming every step and more about letting the AI learn from tons of data.
So not telling it what to think, but letting it figure out how to think.
Exactly. And that makes some people nervous, honestly. They
Right.
say, because we don't fully get how these learning algorithms work, it's a kind of black box, we can't call it intelligence.
It's like those folks who refuse to use GPS. They want to stick to their paper maps, even if it takes them twice as long.
Right. But it brings up a bigger point, don't you think? Is it more important to know exactly how something works?
Yeah.
Or is it the results that matter?
So if this new AI helps solve big problems, makes things better, pushes boundaries, does it really matter if we can track its every thought?
That's a question that goes way beyond just tech, right? We're getting into philosophy, ethics, even our own sense of what consciousness is.
It's like we've fallen down the rabbit hole into some kind of philosophy debate. What even is consciousness? Is it just us humans, or can something else have it? Wild stuff. But before we get too existential here, I do want to bring this back to our listeners.
For sure. It can be a lot to take in, all this talk of AI, intelligence.
Right. So for folks listening, maybe feeling a little unsure about all this, what's the one thing they should really take away from this new era of AI we're talking about?
Okay, good question. I think the most important thing to remember is this. AGI, whatever we call it, it's not some big scary thing, and it's not some perfect future either. It's a tool, a powerful one, but how it gets used, that's up to us.
So less worrying about robots taking over, more about figuring out how AI fits into our world.
Exactly. This AGI future, we're building it right now with the decisions we make, things we choose to do with AI, the ethics we put around it.
And that's something the authors of this piece really hit hard. They want us to move past the fear, the hype, and look at the real world stuff, How will this actually affect people? What are the ethics? Who benefits?
And they make a really important point. Just because we can build an AI that does something doesn't mean we should.
Right. Like, it's not enough to just say, hey, we did it. This AI can do that. We've got to ask the tougher questions. Should it, though? Who wins? Who loses? And how do we make sure it's fair?
Those are the conversations we need to have, and not just tech people. This involves everyone. Policymakers, everyday people, everyone.
It's on all of us to learn about this stuff, to get involved, make our voices heard. This is happening whether we like it or not, so we got to be a part of it.
I agree. It's like we're standing on the edge of something brand new, and we get to help chart the course.
That's a great way to put it. We've done our deep dive, looked at the research, the big questions, hopefully given our listeners something to think about.
And maybe spark some curiosity to keep learning, keep digging.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of a deep dive, right? There's always more to discover. So until next time, keep those questions coming, keep an open mind, and keep exploring.